Hey everyone, welcome to another Let's Play of Long Live the Queen. I am Anna Mardal. This is my sixth Let's Play. Normally at this point I encourage people to go back and watch my first one in order to get comfortable and familiar with the characters and the game mechanics, but over the course of these Let's Plays I have realized that most of what I thought I knew about the game mechanics were wrong, so while I explain them today, I will also try to make sure that we introduce the characters as we come up. So maybe this could be like the new baseline for Long Live the Queen familiarity. The other things I wanted to do today was I wanted to get the game achievement of finding a mysterious artifact. I wanted to discover the magical mirror. I had read online that if you have the magical mirror, then if you aren't a Lumen at the final duel with Tagami, and your father becomes a Lumen in order to fight him, then if he has the magical mirror, he can survive. And I thought, hey, that sounds awesome, because I was super sad when our dad died a couple of Let's Plays ago. Like, that was very depressing. And so I thought, hey, magic mirror will save him, and everything will be lovely forever. Some of you in the audience are already laughing at my naivety. So, let's go through this and get there. The other achievements that I'm pretty sure we'll get in this playthrough is, because I'm kind of achievement hunting now. I'll show how to get a promise discarded, which is breaking off a planned engagement. Better Left Unsaid, which is discovering a terrible family secret. If you've been following my previous Let's Plays, you've probably already seen that one. Interpersonal Diplomacy, your actions have caused a couple to divorce. That one's going to be new. The Mysterious Artifact, we talked about that one, discovering a magical mirror. And a Dangerous Juggler, having hired someone to spy for you. I'm not sure if we've gotten that one before in one of my Let's Plays. So, that's like, what, that's 5? So this is going to be kind of busy. So let's go ahead and start the game. And I'm going to try to remember to pop up an introduction for everybody. This is your dad. He's useless. He is Regent of Nova now that his wife, your mother, the Queen, is dead. This is you, Elodie. And your job is to keep Elodie alive for the next 40 weeks as she rushes headlong towards coronation. And that will be difficult. And as I said, Elodie's mother has just died, and she's very sad and depressed about it, as naturally you would be. Most of you would be. Maybe some of you wouldn't be. I don't know your mothers. But Elodie's mother was apparently pretty nice, so. And we're going to go ahead and save the game, because as you see there are 13 pages of save games, and I'm kind of notorious for taking up at least 3 sheets per Let's Play. This is your mood. Your current mood is depressed. These are, most of you already know this already, but quick recap, these are kind of polar opposites to each other. They're sort of a game of tug of war. If you get an angry, then you have one less afraid because it's sort of tugging it back up. If you get a cheerful point, then you're less depressed because it's tugging it back up. Blue line is neutral mood. If you get all of these, then you're in a neutral, no bonuses, no penalties. And here's where I was kind of wrong in my first couple Let's Plays. This is not additive. The, how do you say, bonuses and penalties that come with depression are the same regardless of whether you're 1 depressed or 2 depressed or 3 depressed or 4 depressed or 5 depressed. The only reason that these have levels of depth is in order to determine which dominant mood is winning out. So the dominant mood is always the mood that has the most levels in it. So we have 4 levels in depression, so we're going to be depressed because we only have 2 levels in afraid. We have 0 levels in willful, yielding, pressured, lonely. If these were equal, if you had 2 levels in angry or afraid and 2 levels in depressed, then whichever one, they take precedence from left to right. So afraid would win out over depressed. So if you look at the skills here, we've got this handy dandy nifty mood box here that says we're depressed, and it tells us what we have a bonus to and what we have a penalty to. So expression has a 1 and animal handling has a 1 because they're augmented by depression, and royal demeanor and conversation and athletics have negative modifiers. These numbers 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, these are preset. Conversation is always a -2 when depressed. It's not like if you bring down depression 1 point, then it would suddenly be -1 or -1.75. No, if your current mood, dominant mood is depression, these are the modifiers that you would get. The wrinkle to this, and the reason I was getting confused, is as you start learning something in a skill, the game adds up the amount of points you've learned so far and divides it by 100, and that's your new positive modifier. So if we had 30 dance and 20 reflexes, then we'd have a plus 0.50 addition here. And so it's perfectly simple once you understand it, but somehow I went off completely on the wrong track. Now we know everything's sorted. So we have to decide what to do for the week. This is going to be a very tight playthrough in terms of skills, since, like I said, we're trying to get 5 Steam achievements in one go. So right off the bat, we need to start studying internal affairs. Classes: intrigue, internal affairs, intrigue, internal affairs. Off we go. What's all that noise? Who's here? It's my cousins and my aunt and uncle. This is Lucille, Countess of Nyx. We literally just learned about her in our Intrigue classes, that she wanted to be Duchess of Merva. Nobody could verify that she had any right to that claim, to that title. And so your mother, as a compromise, made her brother, Lucille's husband, Count of Merva, so that her children would be counts or not count, Duke of Merva, and her children would be dukes or duchesses of Merva. Lucille's evil, by the way. She's going to try to kill us, I think, 4 times over the course of this game. That's alright. We've got plans for taking care of that. This is your mother's brother, your maternal uncle. He's your heir until Elodie has children, which you're not going to do in this game. But if we make it to coronation, we may get married and have children, and then he wouldn't be the heir anymore. This is your cousin Charlotte. She's a sweetie. She's got purple hair and very big red eyes. And she gave us a cheerful, which we needed because our mood was very, very depressed. So right off the bat, we're going to go play with toys, which will give us a yielding, a lonely, and a cheerful. So it'll bring this down and this down and this up. And off we go. Now we're not depressed anymore. We're afraid. You see we have a different facial expression, wide eyes and knit brows. And that changes our bonuses and penalties. So it completely screwed up intrigue. He gave us a -1 to intrigue, which is effectively a -80, because now we're getting a plus, or a -0.80, because now we're getting a plus 0.20, if you will. So what we're going to do, rather than try to study intrigue and not get very far with it, we're going to study court manners, because we need that too. So classes: conversation, court manners, conversation, court manners. What's the commotion outside? Father, what's going on? This is Juliana, Duchess of Ursul. I usually introduce her by saying that she's Elodie's aunt, which is wrong. She's not related to Elodie, so sorry about that. Whoops. As the Duchess of Ursul, her whole job, her whole reason for existing, really, is the Dukedom of Ursul maintains actual magic users. So she knows how to use magic. Your mother knew how to use magic. Elodie does not know how to use magic. And the idea was that one line, the Ursuls, would keep the knowledge alive, so to speak. So she is a magic user. And her brother is Ignatius, Duke Consort of Mead, which means that he's married to the Duchess of Mead. And that will be relevant in just a little while. Juliana says, I've come to pay my respects in honor of your mother. Your father says you have no respect or honor. It's because of you and your powers that my wife is dead. And Elodie is justifiably shocked by this. Juliana says, I am a lumen, as was she, and like every lumen, I am willing to give my life if necessary to protect our domain. And your dad says, your line has been traitors for 200 years. I won't have you corrupting my daughter. Now, you know, if you're coming fresh to this game, or even if you're not, it's totally okay to have this feeling. But especially if you're coming fresh to this game, this sounds like a totally prejudiced, you know, hateful thing for your dad to say. We've all seen that movie or that anime or that TV show where magic users are unfairly discriminated against, and it's unfair discrimination. This universe is a little different. It's entirely possible to interpret the world building to view magic as not a neutral thing, but more as a thing that attracts evil and gets people killed. It's also possible to not interpret it that way. The game kind of lets you make up your own mind about that. But all that to say, your dad is not necessarily hateful and prejudiced by saying that. He is probably still useless, though. Juliana says it's for the crown princess to decide. Elodie, your mother trusted me, and I have much to teach you. Now, usually I arrest her here because arresting her gives us an angry, and we desperately need an angry to get rid of our afraid. For this early in the game, there aren't very many ways to get your afraid down. You can go to the chapel services to reduce an afraid, but other than that, that's pretty much it. The dungeon doesn't usually give us an angry point. We haven't unlocked sports. But today, instead of arresting her in order to get the angry point, we're going to arrest her because we're going to arrest her. It's going to be plot relevant today. You were traitor to the crown. Guards, arrest her. Throw her into the castle. But hey, we did get an angry point, and that's nice too. Or did I say castle? Throw her in the dungeon. Now we've brought up our afraid a little bit. We still need to keep working on our depression. So we are going to go visit Charlotte. My mother worries about me. She doesn't think anywhere but home is safe. I think I mentioned that Lucille is trying to kill you and put Charlotte on the throne, which means that she's also going to have to kill her husband. So she's very sheltering of Charlotte for a lot of reasons, and really kind of dark here. I think that the persistent sheltering of Charlotte is probably an attempt at emotionally abusing her. It's pretty clear to me that when Lucille puts Charlotte on the throne, she wants her to be pliable and easy to boss around and manipulate by Lucille. Lucille wants to be the real power. So that's sad. Lots of fun themes today. These are our skills. We're afraid again, so we're going to continue studying court manners. So off we go with court manners. Boom. Charlotte is playing the He Loves Me Not game with flowers. And snake! Oh my gosh, we've done nothing to avoid the snake. We have the Duchess of Ursula in the dungeon. We trained no reflexes, so the snake just bit us. That's sad. And milk vipers are poisonous, so you'd think we would be getting a death animation, but no! Charlotte is going to save us with her magic. How did you do that? I don't know how I do it. I just can. I'm not supposed to tell anybody. People think it's freaky. You won't tell, will you? No. We won't tell anybody. But we do know now, Elodie knows now, that Charlotte has unexplainable healing powers. Because theoretically, you're not supposed to be able to do magic until you've gone through this magic crystal binding ceremony that turns you into Sailor Moon. Now I have to decide what to do with our mood. We got an afraid point. That's just unavoidable because of the snake, so we're going to go to the services and take the afraid point off. But we're still afraid, so we're going to continue with conversation, and we're going to take some flattery points. Most of you already know this, but we won't be able to get court manners up past 50 until all of its sister skills are 25 or more. So we've kind of train court manners as far as we can go right now, so we're going to switch to flattery. Which is so close to being 25, but it's not. The castle seems quieter. We get more servants every day. Nothing much happened this week. We are going to continue to pull our freight off. And now we're back to being depressed, so we can go back to studying internal affairs without being dinged on that. The last Duke of Mead was the older brother of the current Duchess. His reign was brief and highly scandalous. He defied tradition to pledge himself as a life mate to the old Duke of Ursula and broke that off only a year later. The Duke of Marie, that's Banyan, has paid suit to the Duchess of Ursula, that's Juliana, the blue-haired lady that we have in the dungeons, to no avail. The Duchess's brother is opposed to the suit, as he will inherit if she dies childless. So the Duchess of Ursula's brother would prefer that she die childless so that he can inherit the dukedom. This will be relevant. Your agents suspect the Duchess of Ursula is actually more interested in the Duchess of Hellas. Neither has been linked to a man. One of the maids approaches for your attention. My lady's couriers have arrived from the Duke of Sedna. We have no foreign intelligence, so Elodie doesn't know who the Duke of Sedna is, and Alice has to correct her, which is hilarious, I think. They've brought you a letter and a gift, condolences on the death of... Oh, what a beautiful necklace. It might not be appropriate for me to wear a man's gift in public. So we actually did pass the court manners check. But we're going to go ahead and put it on. And the reason I say that, normally we kind of dodge that, the reason I say that is we want to get the Steam achievement for breaking an engagement. And in order to break an engagement, we have to actually be engaged. I do recommend, if you're not trying to get that achievement, to not put it on, because that will make things a little bit trickier later. He won't like that we broke off his engagement. And also it means that at the end game, we won't be able to pick who we want to marry, because I'm going to end up getting us engaged to somebody else. So, if you don't need to get that achievement, you might want to say don't wear it, but we're going to wear it. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm the princess, and I want my jewelry. I love that so much. I'm the princess, and I want my jewelry. And so Elodie puts on her jewelry. And we're almost evened out on emotions. We just have that depression, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. Off the depression goes. Boom. Today we are going to study history, foreign affairs, which maybe we could have done last week. I don't remember what the bonuses were, and then we would have avoided making ourselves look bad in front of Alice, but all is well. This tells us about the brewing problems with Ixion to the south, which will become relevant in just a little while. 4 years ago, the Duchess of Hellas tried to foment an insurrection in northern Ixion, just over the Galban River border. Not only did that fail, but in retaliation, Ixion pushed troops into southern Mari, and they are still refusing to leave. So that's going to be relevant too. Elodie, that woman, the priestess, keeps staring at me. So Celine has come to ask that we release Juliana. Celine is a secret lumen, and she's also Juliana's lesbian girlfriend, which she doesn't tell us about. But she says, lumen power was your mother, kings and queens before you. It's your right and responsibility to protect the domain. And she asks us to set the Duchess of Ursula free. We won't free her because, it's relevant to the achievements that we're trying to get. So, sorry, Juliana, you have to stay in the dungeon. It did give us an angry point, though. This is all a trick to get the traitor released. I won't listen to you. So, Juliana stays in the dungeon. We will go talk to Dad to find out what really happened to your mom. Dad, what really happened to Mom. She was a lumen, a magic user. It was meant to be in reserve to defend our domain, but she insisted on ... You don't need to hear that. We don't know what she insisted on, but there was some interesting theories in the comments last time that maybe she was responsible for some of the freak storms, quote unquote, that have driven invading forces away from Nova. So that would be interesting. She used magic, it drained her strength. She thought it was harmless, and it wasn't. Eventually, her heart just stopped. I've also Chris the Cynic theorized, and I think it's an interesting one, that Lucille's magic has to do with the stopping of things like breath and hearts and life and stuff like that. So it's possible, maybe, that Lucille is responsible for your mother's death, although it's also possible that nobody realizes that. Someone else will claim responsibility for it later. That's why I don't want you involved with it. So Dad doesn't want us involved with magic. And our dominant mood is angry now, because we, wouldn't release Juliana from prison. So there's our angry face. Grr. We are going to... Well, we're going to study more flattery. And we're going to go ahead and study some meditation, because that will be... I think that's relevant later. Getting some of my Let's Plays mixed up at this point. Ooh, I liked that one. You learn that it is always better to compliment people for their personality and their choices rather than their physical attributes. Yes, that does seem better. As you're walking up the stairs, Mate comes running down with linen. We have no elegance. We have no reflexes. So we do have court manners, though. So these things happen. It's not a big deal. That opened up a new accept her apology, which is good because Apology Gate made us depressed and punish her made us cruel. So we can just accept her apology since we have court manners. No real harm done. Please be more careful in the future. And we got a cheerful point. Woohoo! You return to your rooms. You have barely settled when someone knocks on your door. This is new. Newish? Maybe not. We might have done it in a previous playthrough, but it's important. A visiting noble wishes to speak with you. Who is it? The Duke Consort of Mead, who you will remember is the brother of Juliana and the next in line to inherit if she dies childless. So, Duke Consort of Mead. Internal affairs, success. The husband of the Duchess of Mead is the older brother of the Duchess of Ursula, but has no title in his own right. So that's important. He doesn't have a title. He just has his wife's title that he has kind of used his rights while he's married to her, but he's powerless if he wasn't married to her. Everyone was surprised when the old Duke skipped his son in the succession to make Juliana the Duchess of Ursula. Of course, that wasn't the only thing the old Duke did that was surprising. You follow your father downstairs to greet your guest. Here is Juliana's brother, Ignatius. Your Highness, thank you for meeting me in this difficult time. I come to you on behalf of the people of Ursula who have been left without a protector. Commoners require governance and leadership, or they fall into chaos. You want me to free your sister, the Duchess? He says, well, I wish for Ursula to have a leader. If my sister has displeased you, then I stand willing to serve. So, very helpful, yes. Very helpful guy here. So there you see sister Juliana, wife is Corsandi, daughter is Brienne, who we've seen before in some playthroughs, and they have a son named Noel. If you prefer Juliana in that position, then yes, free her. It is, of course, your decision. So, we are going to give the title to Ignatius. Off you go. Fine then, you be the Duke of Ursula. On behalf of our people, I thank you for your wisdom. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody. And Elodie thinks, now I can leave Juliana locked up forever and no one will care. So, now we are going to sit in some court sessions to probably bring our willful down, was probably the thought. Too yielding, depressed and pressured. Our mood is angry. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Left to right wins. So even though we have one in all of these things, angry wins because it's the far left. We're going to continue to study faith. So we're going to say divination in the morning. Well, divination in the morning, lore in the afternoon. And I don't remember the last time we saved, so let's go ahead and do that. Off we go. This is week 8, so the printing press guy has come to ask for money. We haven't had the necessary skill checks to fund him since probably my first walkthrough, so we won't give him any money. Sorry, not interested. I always feel so bad. I like books. We will sit on some more court sessions and gather up some more yieldings. Now we have yielding. Our eyes are closed. We now also have a bonus to faith. So we are going to say meditation and divination. Over 25. Over 25. Good. Banyan, Duke of Marie. Here's Banyan's profile. We know he is single, and we know he unsuccessfully romanced Juliana, Duchess of Ursul. And we know he is 31. And his sister is Bryn and his brother is Bennett. Now, oh gosh, a couple of Let's Plays ago, we've done all kinds of things to and with Banyan. He's kind of an important plot character. We fought him in a duel. We've faced a vote of no confidence from him. We've disinherited his sister and given her title to Bennett. We've forced his sister to marry somebody against her will. We've done a lot of bad things involving Bennett. Or Banyan. Banyan, Bryn, and Bennett. So, what will we do with Banyan this time? Your Highness, my sympathies for your loss. Even after all these years, I sometimes forget that my own mother will never be coming back. He's quite the manipulator. So he is asking for aid because the Ixionite occupation of his country has gone on for too long. Now, we know from intrigue or foreign affairs that his sister, the Duchess of Hellas, is the one who started the trouble. So Ixion's kind of just paying back what she started. They weren't unprovoked. But I don't know anything about the military. I don't want to fight, so we'll call for diplomats. And Banyan says, thank you very much. Your Highness, if I may ask, the necklace you're wearing, where did it come from? It was a gift from the Duke of Sedna. And Banyan says, then have you made arrangements with him? And Elodie has enough court manners to say, I think he's asking if I'm engaged to the Duke. So we were going to say, not at all. I just like jewelry. But I appreciate presents. Doesn't everyone? And he says, if you say so, Your Highness. So, let us... Gosh, that's a lot of willful. Or a lot of yielding. And we've got a pressured up here. Alright, we've got angry. We're going to go ahead and do explore the castle because that'll bring our angry down and our pressured down. As much as possible, it's a good idea to keep everything, well, I've found so far it's a good idea to keep everything as close to baseline as possible, and then you just push something up 1 or 2, get what bonuses you need out of it for whatever you're training, and then push it back down and bring something else up as needed. Week 9, we're going to continue to study faith, so now we're going to take lore. Lore in the morning, lore in the afternoon, lore at supper time. We just passed 29, so that was 29 or 25 for all 3. So we unlocked the faith outfit. And now we have representatives from Ixion. Woot! You have the full support of my sister and myself, Your Highness. Humph, let's get this over with. And we actually, these bios build up as you learn things, so single prefers the company of women. Good. We don't have Gnomon history enough to learn whatever the diplomat was going to teach us. Maybe to confirm that we did used to have amicable relations, or who knows. We can forget about your unprovoked attacks on us, and we will transfer the rights to this little... and you will transfer the rights to this little province. So he's saying, you know, hey, it's ours now. but we're willing to call it a day. No dice. It was the Duchess of Hellas who tried to take over part of Ixion's territory without the support of my mother, the Queen. So, that opened up this offer to punish the Duchess of Hallis. So, we're going to offer to punish the Duchess of Hallis. And we're doing this specifically in order to piss Banyan off. But it'll... Well, stick with me. We appreciate that you feel wronged. One of our subjects attempted to instigate a rebellion in your territory. However, she did not have our approval for these actions. If you withdraw your troops, we will punish her. Your Highness! This is a fair solution. You have no right to invade us because of her actions. So he says, well, what manner of punishment were you considering? So I don't want to make her common or executor. We'll say commander to marry an Ixonite. She will marry an Ixonite lord of your choosing. I will not! You will if I say you will, or I'll take your title away. This also opens up another Steam achievement that we've gotten a couple times that I forgot to mention at the beginning. It opens up, I think it's called You Do If I Say You Do, which is a play on like the marriage vows of I do, and the text is, you know, that you force someone to get married. So that is what we've just done now. Her heirs will be of your blood in a peaceful union that benefits us both. We have enough internal affairs. Once he leaves, you take the Duchess of Hallis aside. You have to marry someone, even if you don't like men. You need an heir quickly. With a foreign husband, you'll have fewer problems if you divorce him after having a child. So, and kind of Elodie implicitly saying that she'll have her support when the divorce time comes. And we've got Elodie forced her to accept marriage to an Ixionite. So, off we go. I think we're done building up yielding for a while, so we're going to go ahead and take a couple of willful points. Or maybe I just got nervous about how high it was. Oh, yeah. If we take 2 willful, that'll still leave us yielding, but it'll baseline pressure, and it won't have us be quite so deep into the yielding. So, off we go to sneak out. And we're going to continue to study lore. I should have put on our faith outfit, but okay. Your dad has showed up to say there's reports of a Keithong that has been sighted. The Old Forest, that's the area by Cathry Lake where the capital was, until it was destroyed by monsters. A Keithong is the beast with the body of an enormous golden cat, a sharp beak, and spikes on its back. Several disappearances in southern Caloris are already thought to be the work of this creature. Which is interesting because Jocelyn is Duke of Caloris, and is pointed out in the comments that he's kind of, like, relaxed about this, considering it's in his own backyard. So, this may be part of his mourning process. Him being a little numb. We have no traditional policy except to just hope that the beast goes away. Also, there is a letter for you. Talaris, the Duke of Sedna, will be arriving next week for an official visit because we accepted his necklace. We're depressed. I don't want that. So off we go to the church services. And off we go to the saving. Boom. How are we doing on lore? We're getting real close. We want more lore. I'm going to go ahead and put on, just because it's cute. Here's the priestess robe, which I'm very fond of. I think it's adorable. And we have a +1 to royal demeanor because we're yielding. So we're going to take a lore class in the morning, and we're going to take a presence class in the afternoon. Ah, there. Only the crown and the Duchy of Ursula maintain active lumens. You have nothing more to learn about lore. And we learned some presents. Talarist, Duke of Sedna, which we've seen before, but I'm very fond of his light purple hair. And he coordinates with it, which is also nice. A noble from the domain of Talais, southeast of Nova. Ah, your highness, what a pleasure it is to meet you in person at last. Your description did not do you justice. Now we have enough flattery to pass this, we often don't, And Elodie says, "You have a silver tongue, your grace, or an eye for unfinished potential. Both admirable qualities." I like that. "I was so pleased to hear that you had accepted my humble offering, a jewel for a jewel, but you are the most precious. I hope that this is only the beginning of a mutually beneficial relationship. A union between us would bring stability to both our people." And Elodie says, "Oh, he really does want to marry me." So we get to accept or decline. We're going to accept because that's the whole point of we want to break an engagement. So in order to break an engagement, we have to be engaged. So off we go. "I would be honored." Your dad's upset. "Elodie, your grace, are you not aware that my daughter has only 14 summers?" And Tyler says, "Well, it's just a betrothal. There's no need to hurry. So, if I might be of service in any way, please send for me. I'd be happy to offer my protection or advice." You said, "Okay, we're engaged now. Yay us." Let's go ahead and sit on court sessions. That'll give us some yielding and some depressed and pressured. We're yielding again. Good, good, good. We're going to study composure and elegance. So, royal demeanor, composure, elegance, go. "You're requested to stand in judgment. A woman has been convicted of attempted murder and requests the mercy of the crown." This is Kevin, Earl of Io. We've seen him before, and he has a really tragic backstory that I hadn't known about, so I'm not even going to comment on the fact that he's, age 33. I was wondering what his age was. Age 33. Okay. Gosh, all the potential suitors in this game are so old. I think, compared to Elodie, I think Talorist at 26 is one of the youngest of all the people that are older than Elodie. I think he may be one of the youngest ones that marry her. Anyway, this woman admits that she tried to poison my sister, Coruscant, Duchess of Mead. We learned in a previous Let's Play that Kevin and Coruscant, his sister, are having an affair. I think we'll also learn that in this Let's Play. That's that terrible family secret that I said we'd get an achievement for. Yeah. Which sister? Coruscant, the Duchess of Mead. Is she alright? We have no Novan history. We don't know that this woman had reasons to be upset. The Duke did kill her brother. But we had just enough internal affairs for a partial success, which unlocks Ask the Earl about her story. I still don't think, I'll save so we can check real quick. You need to have a whole bunch of court manners, and I still don't think we have enough. I need to know if she has any justification for her actions. Yeah, did the old Duke kill her brother? Court manners fails. Are you accusing my family? I'm asking what happens. And the honor of our line is far greater than that of the wet-bottomed child who sits on the throne, and he kills her. So I'm going to use, I love this game, and I love the game mechanics. We can just use the mouse scroller wheel to back up, including backing up over choices. So we're just going to put her in prison instead. Isn't that awesome? I love that so much. Whoever wrote that feature in has all my gratitude. Oh, whoops. We're being rushed at. We have no archery, but fortunately we do have guards. So, yeah. It's sad. Let's pull our anger down. Off to the service we go. Yielding again. Composure and elegance again. As you're walking one day, you hear a strange sound and look up. We don't have enough divination to know what that's all about. I believe that's the thing that unlocks being able to talk to Fabian at the gala. I'm gonna have to double check on that. There's a woman who wishes crown funding. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. We have no herbs, no battlefield medicine. Putting all the sick people together? Wouldn't that make them die faster? We're not interested. I love that because it's totally plausible. That does seem like that would make them die faster. I'm gonna go play with toys. Get us some. We'll still be yielding, but we'll have some cheerful skills. We're gonna continue to work on presence. Oops, presence. Off we go. That should unlock a new outfit. It does. It's almost like we played this before. Remember that the Festival of the Good Lady is approaching. There will be public celebrations, followed by a grand gala for the nobility. Do you want to leave the castle and appear in public? We're going to say yes. It's from Briony. Her mother is the Duchess of Mead. She's complaining that her mother won't let her come home for the holidays. Apparently, her Uncle Kevin has been acting strangely lately and shouting at shadows. Her parents are fighting, and she thinks they might split up. So, like, I don't know if you remember, but... Okay, so back up. Her mother is the Duchess of Mead, and way back, like, 30 minutes ago, we were talking about how Ignatius, the blue-haired guy, brother of Juliana, was the Duke Consort of Mead, but he was not the Duke of Ursul. He was passed over for that. He was not the Duke of Mead. That's Coruscant. That's his wife. He had no political power of his own. He had just married into power. Now, we've ennobled him with the Duchy of Ursul. He has political power apart from his wife. He didn't need her anymore. So if their marriage was unhappy for any reason, like say, oh, I don't know, if his wife was, I don't know, sleeping with her brother who happened to be living with them, or, you know, just to pick an example at random, then he would have the ability to divorce her and still land on his feet, because she wouldn't be the source of his power. So remember that Steve achievement I said where our actions cause someone to divorce? Yeah, that's gonna be them. She's bored and looking for adventure. I don't have any to suggest to her. Off we go to court. Wow, why are we sitting in court? I must have wanted to be really yielding for some reason. Well, oh well. I trust my notes. Not always the best idea. Let's do some more composure and presence. Composure, presence, go. We've got a gala to prepare for. Oh, crud. This is why I save, because I forget to do things. Court. I wanted to change outfits. Outfit. Coronet. Boost royal demeanor. We didn't really need to boost lore. Lore's already boosted. So now we have this nice big bonus to composure and elegance, which seems important when we're about to go lead a parade. So, composure and presence, let's try this again. I'm gonna cough, hold on. Sorry about that. Look at all that presence. Do we want to lead the parade and or make a speech? We'll lead the parade. We have no speech making abilities. I will lead the parade. Oh, that's why. We got willful for that. I'm not afraid. I'm going to be the best parade leader ever. You prepare your best gown for the occasion and walk slowly through the town with your attendants. At the end of the route, you help the priestesses turn over the earth for the new tree we planted. We had no decoration and not enough elegance, apparently. Well, we'll all live. New life is blessed and the attendants join in song. The procession regroups to return the castle. All of a sudden, there is a faint rumbling noise from under your feet. The newly planted tree in front of you quivers, and then, out of nowhere, a spurt of water comes up from the ground, spattering you and the assembled crowd with droplets. Just as quickly as it began, it vanishes. The priestesses try to calm the crowds with talk of omens and natural eruptions, but they can't halt the whispers. Dark magic. That water tasted of salt. That night, afraid, the guards report that Juliana, the former Duchess of Ursul, has mysteriously vanished from her cell. Everyone is suspected, but no one seems to know what happened. Another afraid. You now have an enemy on the loose. So, oop. That's sad, and that's also why we built up yielding so high, because otherwise we might have had to worry about our afraid being overtaking it, so to speak. So, we are going to attend services to take an afraid off. Skills. We're going to do some more composure. Lots of composure. Are you ready for the grand ball? Here we go. All around, the rich and powerful pause in their activities to gaze upon you. We have enough presence, so we let our eyes rest upon each in turn as you have been taught, impressing on them that you are not a child, but a queen. So that leaves a good impression. Your father waits for you at the bottom of the stairs. First dance is for us. After this, you must choose your own partner. And Elodie says, but I'm already betrothed to the Duke of Sedna. That does not bar you from dancing. Court manners. If I dance with a gentleman here, it will make them happy. But Talorus might think I'm planning to break the betrothal. So we have a choice. Now, we are planning to break the betrothal because we want that steam achievement. So we're gonna dance with suitors. And let's go with someone scandalous. You don't want everyone assuming that whoever you pick first is your intended marriage partner, so why not make your choice as ridiculous as possible? With that in mind, you approach the Duchess of Hellas. You feel deliciously wicked at the expression of shock on her face, but it soon fades into something more ambiguous. Her hand in yours is warm, and too late you wonder if you're playing with fire. We have no dancing, so we trip over our own feet. Between the dances, there is time for the guests to mingle and chat. We have court manners and flattery, so it says you interact comfortably with your peers, leaving a wise word in every ear. During a lull in the music, Banyan, who is angry with us because we forced his sister to get married, the Duke of Marie, taps an elegant fingernail against the wine glass, letting a clear note ring throughout the room. If I may have your attention. This is Marie. Duke of Marie. I believe we should offer our compliments to our lovely hostess. Not only does she protect our borders, but she has begun to address the long-standing problem of a shortage of heirs. My sister is proud to do her duty, as of course are others, such as myself and our lovely new queen. You can almost hear the chorus of eyebrows being raised. Court manners. He's trying to suggest that he and I have some sort of romantic arrangement. If I don't deflect that, everyone will be sure it's true. He says, may I have this dance, fair lady? So this is funny, and I'm going to show it to you, even though we're still going to break the engagement. We'll come back, but I think this is hilarious. Because he just said, my sister is proud to do her duty, as of course are others, such as myself and our lovely new queen. Now, if you're not already engaged to somebody, which at this point we usually aren't, then that sounds like these are linked. Myself and our lovely new queen are doing their duty together. But we're already engaged. So this opens up an option where we can say mention betrothal to Sedna. So Elodie is pretending that the myself and our lovely new queen aren't linked, that he's announcing his own engagement in addition to hers. So she says, I don't think that would be appropriate. Public speaking, court manners, flattery, success. After all, your fiancé might be overwhelmed with jealousy. Banyan says, and Elodie says, my guests are already aware of my engagement to Talorus, Duke of Sedna. Therefore, you are announcing your own engagement, are you not? He stands there lost for words, and you know you have won this battle. I love that so much. But, we're trying to break an engagement, gosh darn it, so let's dance with him after he suggested that we're sleeping together. So, backing up, certainly. He pulls you close, his hand possessive on your waist, as the orchestra swings back into motion. His head above yours angles down to murmur words that you hope no one else can hear. You realize that you have just admitted to all your guests that you and I are having an affair. Court manners. I know. And then we get to pick one of these. So we're going to go ahead and get betrothed to him in order to break that engagement. I plan to marry you. That's because I intend to marry you. I thought you were already engaged. Engagements are broken every day. You're powerful, experienced, and sneaky. I think we could make a good match. But for now, I intend to dance. So, congratulations, we've just broken an engagement. Which will come back to haunt us a little bit. And then we're going to finish out. Oh, no Breenie. She said her parents were leaving her stuck at school this season. Her parents are here, but they dance at an awkward arm's length from each other. Something must be wrong there. So our orchestrated divorce is going full throttle now. No sense magic, so we can't tell that Lucille is a lumen. Let's go attend court. Whew, that was a lot. Skills, we need to study... Oh, yes, we need to study decoration and instruments. So, here. Expression, decoration, expression, instrument. I'm going to go ahead and save, just because y'all don't want to see the gala again. Off we go. Decoration and instrument. My lady, a bouquet has arrived for you. The flowers are unusual, long spikes of red. Who sent them? We don't have court manners. We don't have poison. The poison check is intended purely to frighten you, I think. They're not really poison. The Duchess of Hallis. You can accept them, reject them, or give them to Alice. And I'm not going to go through each of them. We're going to go ahead and accept them. Giving them to Alice is, I believe, part of what unlocks the potential Alice romance option at the end, which is like really, really hard to achieve, I think. So that won't be this run. Accept them. Put them on display. I think they look nice. The Duke of Marie has also sent you a gift. An engagement present? You open the box to reveal a little glass figure of a dancing girl, her hands held above her head. So you can put it away, display it, smash it. I'm not really sure what all the different options give you. I did think that smash it was interesting. We'll go ahead and display it because I don't want to be mean. But Alice dies for cover as you hurl the figurine against a hard stone wall, cracking it into worthless chunks of glitter. I am not a toy. I kind of liked that a little bit, but we'll go ahead and display it. You perch the figure on a shelf where she can catch the light. Pretty! You wander downstairs to visit your father. Siren is down there. Siren, who is single. And we actually, for once, have enough composure to greet her politely. You manage to smile at her in what you hope is a welcoming manner. Good day to you, Countess. Oh, we even had court manners. Your Highness, good day to you as well. I was just speaking with your father about, well, it wasn't important. Please allow me to excuse myself. I don't wish to be in the way. She bows her head to you and she exits. And Jocelyn said, this is the path you have set us on. Your acts have made everyone think about preparations for the future. Caloris needs an heir. My brother, your Uncle Armand, is looking for a wife as well. One of us at least must produce more children. So, we all have to do things we don't want to. So, insert double entendre here when Jocelyn says he has to do things he doesn't want to do. Depression. You should be more careful with how you deal with people like Siren. You need the goodwill of your commoners. Elodie says there hasn't been any problems so far, and Jocelyn says no one has been able to track the former Duchess of Versul. There could be plots underway. As queen, you must be aware of everything around you. Isn't that what I have agents for? Yes, but you must give them direction. What is your greatest concern? Juliana Versul, we're going to pick this. We're going to pick this because we're trying to get that magic mirror. We need to locate Juliana. A rogue lumen is a danger to the entire domain. Without more clues of where to search, your agents are apparently unable to locate her. You could detail a portion of your army to patrol for signs of her, but that would take them away from other duties. If you offered a reward for her capture, the people of Nova would also aid in the search. However, she was in prison once before, and that did not contain her. She has to die, or I want her alive, are our two options here. I don't know that it matters in this playthrough, but it will in another one that I also have notes for. But we'll just go ahead and pick she has to die. She's too dangerous to hold. She has to be killed and quickly before she has a chance to use her magic. Internal affairs! Boom! Some years ago, Juliana spent time with the Duke of Marie and the Duchess of Hellas. Maybe they would have some idea where she's gone. So let's go ask Marie and Hellas. Send messages to the Duke of Marie and the Duchess of Hellas. I need to speak with them about Juliana. As you wish. So, we've seen that before, but we weren't able to actually take advantage of it because we had, at that point, utterly alienated both of them. Now, they're both sending us presents, so I think they'll cooperate. Oh, let's see. We're gonna go ahead and study voice. We may not have needed the instrument and what was it, decoration from last time. You could take last week as kind of a mulligan. It's the time of year to balance the royal budget. I don't understand these numbers. We're going to keep them the same. Off the go. Also, we've received a message from the King of Thalais. It suggests that the Duke of Sedna is extremely displeased at how publicly you broke your betrothal to him. Oh, he suggests that a large tribute, perhaps 2,000 lassie, would go a long way to smoothing over ruffled feathers. So I'm going to go ahead and pay him. Fine. Go away. Fine, send him the money. A maid taps at the door for attention. Ah, the Duchess of Hellas is here to see you, my lady. You came alone? You wanted to speak to us about Juliana, didn't you? My brother knows nothing about her. He never did see what was right in front of him. You mean you and she... Oh, that's interesting. It said Banyan was 31, right? So Bryn is actually the older sister. Did not know that. You mean you and she? Under his nose, yes. With her reputation, I thought she might stay the course. Not like Elsbeth or Lucille. My Aunt Lucille? But Juliana said I was too challenging, and she left me for some meek little temple novice from Mazomba, which I assume is Celine, unless there are other temple novices we don't know about. You want to find her? Check the priestesses. And Elodie says, that priestess who wanted me to set Juliana free. Thank you for this information. You're welcome, my queen, always. Perhaps some time in the dungeons will make the priestess talk. Later that evening, the guards make their move, descending upon the palace grove with the intention of arresting Celine, priestess of the second circle. Their first warning of danger was when the ground beneath them began to tremble. All at once, a column of black water blasted up from the earth, scattering soldiers and priestesses alike. The water faded away, leaving nothing but salt-tinged mist, but Celine had disappeared with it. Apparently, Juliana was not the only rogue lumen loose within Nova. Now we have 2 rogue lumens to worry about. So we're afraid and depressed and yielding and pressured. Yuck. Let's go ahead and go take down our afraid. My notes have me continuing instrument decoration. I'm a little confused because you'd think I would have manipulated the mood to match that, but we'll just barrel forward. Because yielding doesn't help, so I'm not sure why I didn't fix that. You're requested to stand in judgment. A man has been convicted of the murder by strangling of his wife. He does not deny the act, but requests a pardon that he might be set free. If you admit you killed your wife, why do you think I'm going to set you free? Demons made me do it. So we've seen this before, but we're going to execute him, and next week I will tell you why. Off you go. Execute. I don't care whether there were demons or not, you're still a murderer and your life is forfeit. You will be hanged in public as a deterrent to future criminals. Yes, Your Majesty. Castle Grove, take off our afraid. Classes, we're going to go back to voice. We did get 25 and everything, so at least we can go over the voice without wasting anything. Over 50 with voice without wasting anything. $56. Okay. You receive word of an unfortunate incident at the gallows where the man you judged was sent to be executed. He was led to the platform. As he was led to the platform, he suddenly lashed out with explosive magical power, killing several guards and spectators before making his escape. The population is buzzing with rumors of a secret cabal of evil lumens who sacrifice innocents in their dark rituals. So, we wouldn't have got this if we imprisoned him, presumably because he sort of blew up the prison in the middle of the night and made his way off. And maybe we tried to keep it quiet. Now we have, this was, middle of the day platform. The population is buzzing with rumors of a secret cabal of evil lumens who sacrifice innocents in their dark rituals. So now, that opened up the ability to visit your dad. Let's go do that. First Juliana, then Celine, and then this nameless guy. Is there really a cabal of evil lumens in Nova? I don't know. How are we supposed to fight them? How can we defend ourselves against magic? That is why the king or queen of Nova has traditionally been a lumen, to fight magic with magic. Well, Dad, I guess your decision to prevent Elodie from becoming a lumen didn't work out so well after all. So I have to... No, you are too young, and that power destroys everything it touches. Then what am I supposed to do if they attack me? I will not let anyone harm you as long as I live. And what if you... like Mom? For a long moment, he remains silent. Then at last, the heir to the Duchy of Caloris is traditionally sworn to the greatest of secrecy on certain matters. However, you are my only daughter, and you are worth more than any oath. There are treasures that have been collected by my family, enchanted artifacts of power, locked away and never to be used. They are hidden because they are dangerous, just as lumen magic is dangerous. Even more so because many of their workings have been lost over the years. I would rather such things were forgotten entirely. The world is a better place without them. I had hoped that without your mother's crystal, the perils which are magic's inevitable cost would not seek you out. Lumens attract disaster. When all the nobles of Nova were lumens, the doom shadow fell. But you are right. You have too many enemies with their own magics, and I may not always be able to protect you. I will search among the records for any artifact which can protect the user against a lumen's power. So, there's a lot to unpack here. And, I mean, one of them is that, okay, apparently the Duchy of Caloris keeps magic artifacts, some of which are apparently magic anti-lumen artifacts. And they've been sworn to secrecy, maybe because giving them the benefit of the doubt, maybe because of precisely this thing, that they wanted to have something in reserve in case a lumen cabal decided to, try to have some kind of palace coup against a non-lumen or weak lumen king or queen. So this is kind of our, this is our fallback position. If lumens start being a problem, we unleash the anti-lumen trove. And again, this is just speculating and giving benefit of the doubt. And of course, in that case, secrecy maybe makes sense because your anti-lumen trove maybe doesn't work if the lumens know to prepare for it. But on the other hand, we're going to be facing all these problems as part of our reign. And, I mean, if you've watched my previous Let's Plays, you've seen how badly magic can just screw everything up. You can awaken a kraken that kills everybody. The old forest is stuffed with magical beasties that kill everybody, And so you're like, okay, Juliana, who has magic, is not proactively coming to Elodie and saying, by the way, here are some dangerous things about magic you need to know. For instance, if you kill Lucille with magic, then the magical backlash creates a little mini Doom Shadow that kills somebody. That's another Steam achievement. Just an innocent bystander or somebody. So, you know, so Juliana is not coming forward to tell you this stuff. Your father is not coming forward to tell you, I've got these artifacts that maybe are useful. You know, so it's really... It's one of those things where maybe they have good reasons for what they do, but it's really frustrating that they're doing what they're doing, because it ends up screwing us over, not just from a gameplay perspective, but from an like a role-playing perspective. Elodie just doesn't have enough information to come up with innovative solutions, so it's really annoying. So, Dad, useless, arguably useless. So, off we go. Now I have to decide what to do for the week. I think we're still trying to build up voice. I'm wondering, it's been a couple of days since I made these notes. I'm wondering if I was trying to leave it so that you could voice your way out of the final confrontation if for whatever reason you didn't want to see your dad go through that with the duel and the magic mirror, although that's the whole point of this walkthrough. So, because I don't think we need this much in order to, well, maybe it is 60, or in order to employ the musician later, the spy. We'll see. Fabian, the Earl of Titan and Duke Regent of Elath, has passed away. We have to decide what to do with young Lord Adair. Almost the entire eastern border. Oh, let's just leave him with a Reese. We don't have to want to deal with a civil war on top of everything else. Adair must be upset enough already without taking him away from his home. Leave him with his stepmother. Let's get rid of some of this yielding, so we're going to sneak out. We're pressured, and I didn't expect to be pressured. I did something out of order. But that's okay. We will take one more voice and then throw down a public speaking. Which is at a negative, but that's okay. Maxed out voice. Yeah. Penalty, but not too bad, actually, considering all the bonuses we're getting from previously having learned. There is a woman here to see you. She is a musician and wishes crown patronage, which means money. If you accept me as a member of your court, I will immortalize you in word and song. I have dabbled in musical styles from many countries and can entertain your guests. Musicians are often used as secret agents and messengers. They can be useful and dangerous. Her instrument plus voice, it's okay, but nothing special. That might mean she has other talents. So we will test her for secret skills. You are familiar with the traditions of many locations, yes? Can you also perform accents? That I can. What about juggling? I can keep a set of dangers in the air. And I'm not sure, I saw on the wiki, no one's quite sure if that was a typo or if it was supposed to be a slip of the tongue. But either way, interesting. I look forward to all you have to tell me. We'll have to talk privately to see how much she knows, but I think she may be useful. Not useless. Useful. Let's go ahead and take another willful and lonely. We're still pressured. That's okay. we're gonna start building up reflexes and archery so that we can go to Gwenelle's party. So really being angry or afraid would have helped us more than pressured. So something for me to keep in mind next week. I've diverged from my notes just slightly. That happens sometimes. Reflexes and archery. Off the go. You receive a letter from young Lord Adair. He seems to be thanking you for letting him stay with the family he knows. That's sweet. Let's see here. Afraid actually hurts weapons, so ideally we'd like to be angry, and I don't know that anything gives us angry right now. No, it doesn't. We'll go ahead and do a lonely and cheerful to at least bring our depression up. We're still pressured, but at least we're not. We're getting closer to not being so. Classes, archery and reflexes, off the go. You notice a strange flash of light. A falling star! Pretty! Oh, we're cheerful now. Whoops. Well, that doesn't really hurt us. We could be depressed and lonely. That would make us... What? Nothing gives you depressed and lonely? That surprises me. Thought for sure something would. Afraid will hurt us for weapons. I don't really want to go afraid. We could go afraid, but I don't want to. We could finish out reflexes that way, though. Oh, yeah, let's do that. We're afraid. So that hurts us with weapons, but it doesn't hurt us with reflexes. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 weeks of 2 classes of reflexes. That should get us to 50. Yes, it does. Good. My lady, there's a letter for you. Who sent this? It isn't signed. It appears to be a poem. Awesome! So we can say that's terrible and get an angry, and that just took care of our afraid. We're not going to try to climb out and get it. That worked out well. And we can play sports, which gives us an angry. Good! Worked out better than my notes, even. So now we have a +1 to weapons, so we can take 2 classes in archery. This is getting us ready for Gwenelle's party, by the way. In case you're wondering why we suddenly got an unusual interest in archery. So this is the letter from Brienne saying that she wants to see us at Gwenelle's party, and this is the invitation to the birthday celebration. Woot! Go to Sudbury for Gwenelle's party. And we are angry and cheerful. Good combination, I guess. Oh, and that was why we studied lore so much at the beginning. In addition to all the other lore checks we've been passing, we're going to need to pass lore in order to get Brienne to even talk to us at all. So. Oh. We don't need to continue studying archery and reflexes. This is what a bonus can do for you. It can totally make you not have to worry about something for a week. Gosh, I don't know. If we take a depressed and afraid, that'll bring us a little bit closer to an even keel. We've got 1 cheerful. So we have a week where we can just do whatever we want. I wonder why I was studying public speaking. Let's go ahead and take that. We'll have a free week. Public speaking. Unless we want to do flattery. Because that's going to be coming up. Yeah, let's do a public speaking and a flattery. Kind of winging this week. Over 25. Good, good, good. New outfit. Visual elements are best to flatter in our first meeting. They expect it to be noticed right away. Small personal details help to make the recipient feel you truly notice them. Most people want to believe that they are successful and well-liked more than they want to believe that they are handsome. That's awesome. On your journey to Sudbury, your carriage is attacked by bandits, but we have archery and reflexes, and we're able to push yourself away from the window and avoid being shot. Oh, depression. The rest of your trip passes without incident, but you can't help jumping in the shadows. Oh, so I shouldn't have taken a depressed and lonely last week, because we just got another depressed and lonely. Well, it is what it is. Charlotte and her mother are not here. Apparently Charlotte was ill. It's so weird how Lucille and Charlotte are almost never at anywhere we go. This is Lee, Countess of Dis, who looks just like Lucille's head. It's a palette swap. And a commenter pointed out that she's wearing Bryn's dress, so that's awesome. Husband of Bennett, actually, so will not be shoved aside. Here's Gwinnell. Mother, it's my domain now. I need space for myself. You have your own lands to manage. Just because you're of age doesn't mean you know everything. You need my advice. This is my home. It has never been yours. Flattery! Feelings could be easily hurt on either side. It's important that everyone involved save face. So we can flatter them both. I'm sure you have a great deal of wisdom to impart, but isn't that what you've always done? You have to trust in the strength of your own teachings. Trust in the strength and intelligence of your daughter. Neither of them looks entirely happy, but neither of them looks angry with you either. A bit later, Briony catches up with you. This is Briony. Hello, Elodie. It's so wonderful you're going to be queen now. So let's break this down. Mother's Corisande. Father is Ignatius, who we gave the Duchess of Ursul to, or the Duchy of Ursul to. I can't speak anymore. And her maternal uncle is Kevin, who is sleeping with Corisande. But you don't know that yet. Shh, shh. Nobody knows. I'm sorry about your mother, but think of the opportunities you're going to have. Have they told you all the secrets, like how to get into the old palace? Lore, you mean the old capital by Catherine Lake, the abandoned one? Yes! So she wants to go to the old capital. So we can say, offered help, and we will say that, and she will come to our castle to visit. If you come back to the castle with me, we can check the archives. Great, I knew you could help. I'm supposed to go back to school, but I was planning to sneak off. I'll ditch my escort. This could be fun. Good, I'm glad you're happy, Elodie. Okay, we'll take the afraid off. Let's play sports. Sports seems nice. And we are willful now. We're gonna go ahead and take public speaking some more. I'm pretty sure I should probably start making notes that explain what I'm doing to myself. I'm pretty sure that the goal here was that if for whatever reason you didn't want to see your tag have to use the magic mirror, then you'd have an out via the voice and public speaking, is my guess, since we've maxed out voice and we have plenty of composure and we're working on public speaking. That is my thinking. I really hate to make Dad fight that duel. So this was kind of my backup plan. Let's see. This is the week with Briony. I found a bunch of maps around the area around Catherine Lake. Great. I also found reports on all sorts of nasty monsters. That was hundreds of years ago. I know it's dangerous. I'm not stupid, but you and I are educated. No, hey, cat, quit making that sound. Gosh, I'm sorry about that. Cat's banging on the study door. But you and I are educated noblewomen, not peasants. I'm good with a sword and a bow. And you, don't you have magic powers now that you're queen? No, we don't. So come with me. It'll be an awesome adventure. Our parents are going to be so impressed. Conversation success. Is that what this is really about? Briony's parents? So we're going to ask about Briony's parents. Briony, what is going on with you and your family? Nothing. Really nothing. Ever since Uncle Kevin moved in, my parents don't want anything to do with me. I'm an adult now, you know. Technically, she's 16. And they still say I have to be in school all the time. I'm the heir. I should be spending time in Mead. Wow, I just realized we totally did something wrong, but we'll keep going. When did your uncle move in? I don't know, a few years ago after Grand's divorce. The Duchess of Lilla divorced her second husband, and then he died. Cat, quit playing on the door. He would have been the stepfather of Brianny's mother and uncle. That must have been a stressful time for your family. Yeah, I'm sure, but so what? That was years ago. They've had plenty of time to get over it. I just want them to pay attention to me. If I find the lost treasures of Nova, they have to notice. So Brianny says you've already run away from school. If they don't notice that, they won't notice anything. So just stay here and wait, because going to the old capital isn't going to make a difference. Now, several of you already know what I've done wrong. Not really wrong, but way back at the beginning of this, I promised you that if you use this walkthrough, you could also get the Learn a Terrible Family Secret achievement, accomplishment. We're not going to get that because we have no ciphering. You need to have ciphering in order to get that. We could throw down some ciphering real quick. I don't immediately remember how much ciphering you need. Let me check the wiki real quick, just so we know. Let's see. Please wait. I feel like I should be singing like elevator music or something, like Girl from Ipanema or something. The wiki's being slow, I'm sorry. Or my internet connection is being slow. However you want to spin it. Week 31 is the one we care about. Okay. If you convince Brianny to go home with her mother, a letter arrives from her. Test ciphering 30 to discover a terrible family secret. Okay, so we could do that. We are going to study ciphering. We can get 30. That's no problem. 17, return. So we're going to abandon public speaking for the moment and study ciphering. And that way it won't have lied to you whenever I said at the beginning that we would learn a terrible family secret. Gosh, it's only 30? I thought it was harder than that. The Duchess of Mead is here to see you, my lady. Corsandi, Elodie, where's my brother? So, here is all the things we know about Corsandi, Duchess of Mead. Her brother is Kevin. Her husband is Ignatius, who we've made the Duke of Ursul. Her daughter is Brianny. Her elder half-brother Hyacinth was Duke of Mead before her, but Hyacinth died without heirs. Before his death, Hyacinth was scandalously involved with Paulus, the old Duke of Ursul, Ignatius's father. Families in this game are so complicated. So, her brother was involved with her husband's father, and she is now sleeping with her own brother, Kevin. Complicated. Elodie, where is my daughter? Which daughter? You know very well that I only have one. Really, Mother? Because sometimes I don't think you have one at all. Brianny, thank goodness you're all right. And Brianny says, you haven't wanted me to come home in ages. I don't understand because you never tell me anything. So the Duchess says, all right, if that's what it will take, come home with me and I'll explain everything. Looks like everything worked out for the best. Elodie is happy. Let's go ahead and... Ooh. I like our mood where it is. Let's see. Let's bring down the cheerful and stay willful. We have over 70 presence, we have over 70 public speaking, we have 100 voice, and if we wanted to take the ending where you sing your way out of trouble with the pink angel ending, we would start getting foreign intelligence. So, and we also need some divination because we have a poison chocolate attempt coming up. So we're going to take foreign intelligence and divination. Oh, wow. 45 divination. Good. Freak gust of wind. An omen of war and danger. But there's no sign where the danger could be coming from. You receive a letter from Briony hinting at some of the complicated family drama that has been going on. Her parents are getting a divorce now that her father has a duchy of his own. So hey, Steam achievement, we caused a couple to get divorced. I don't know if you remember way back like an hour ago when I said if you don't need to get the break the engagement thing, don't bother getting engaged to Talorist. I believe that Ignatius, Juliana's brother, becomes a potential marriage candidate if you get to the end of the game and you're not engaged to anybody. However, we won't get to see that in this playthrough because in order to break the engagement with the Duke of Talorist, the easiest thing to do was to get engaged to somebody else, as opposed to break it off without becoming engaged to somebody else. So, all that to say, her parents are getting divorced now that her father has a duchy of his own. There's an extra section at the end of the letter written in code. Ciphering success. Her uncle and his stepfather? Her uncle and her mother? No wonder she was trying to hide it. Well, I hope she'll be happier now. Which is very optimistic hope, I would think, but we'll take the... why are we afraid off? Oh, because of the divination. Off the afraid goes. Skills, we are going to continue to study foreign intelligence and divination. And we're also going to save the game. Where are we? Here we are, 17. Now we're 18. Things have been so unsettled lately. Let's have a tournament! Gosh, usually I offer employment so that we'll have more troops. I already know that the extra troops aren't going to help us because we haven't built more ships. So, let's try something else for once. Let's be interesting. Do we want to do status and praise or gold? I'm probably never going to do gold again. So, gold! A purse of gold for the champions. You leave him to his work. As you move through the hall, your eyes falls upon a vase of flowers. Pretty, but apparently not getting enough water. The leaves on one blossom have shriveled. Oh, crap. We just failed divination. Chocolates! You pop a chocolate into your mouth and the court manners... Awesome. And this is why we save frequently. I thought we had enough divination. Let's load that game. Where are we? 18? Let's put on the faith outfit. So we did foreign intelligence and divination, right? Maybe the outfit will pop us over. Everyone's on edge. You can hold a tournament. Let's do status and praise. Being declared to be the best in front of the entire domain should be prize enough for anyone. Here we go. A leaf killed by a secret weakness. A hidden threat. From the Duke. No, my lady. A merchant house. Brightly colored paper. Chocolates. Save it for later. I don't feel like candy right now. You might as well collect the death while you're here. There's a Steam achievement for like 11 different types of deaths. I still haven't gotten it yet, so. Wow, okay. Let's take an angry. Let's go back to our royal demeanor. That's awesome. We need more foreign intelligence in order to get out, do the singing angel ending, which you're probably not going to do if you've come this far, but just in case you want to get that ending, we're gonna make it unlockable. Hey kitty, did you get through the door all right? Mean door. Mean nasty door. Okay. I think this is interesting. In some of the endings, Shangia ends up going to visit Borealis after us to try to track down lumens there. But we have this here that says, agents who have visited Borealis report that all known lumen shamans seem to have no magical powers at all and perform their ritual displays with show and trickery. So I guess the king of Sanji is going to either be very disappointed or occupied for a while. This is the week of the tournament. The people will be pleased if you participate. Let's do music. You aren't trained in an instrument that's appropriate for a setting like this, so you sing a cappella. Your performance is well received, but you are overshadowed by those whose talents are more in line with the expected style. Fortunately, we didn't have to fight a duel because Aris is alive and Brienne didn't go off into the forest. The chocolates were poisoned. Someone has tried to kill you, but you don't know who, and now you're afraid. Back to angry again. And now we need more foreign intelligence. That should max us out. The Queen of Sanji, we really only needed 90. The Queen of Sanji is wedded to a non-noble, a court musician, we needed to know that, whom she took as a court consort. She has since passed new laws to give not only their children, but also the man himself an equal claim to the throne. And that the king is the true power behind the throne and may also have the powers of a lumen. So I think... Well, let's go through this. My lady, your father wants to speak to you. He says it's urgent. I'll be there in a minute. There's someone I have to talk to first. You wait for the maid to leave, then hurry off to rendezvous with your agent. Your Highness, I had a quiet chat with the workers on the cargo ship which carried the poisoned chocolates. Seems someone was bribed to take that passage on board, not in Kegel, but further down the river in Merva. I had a look at the card that came with it and checked it against your correspondence. For a moment you were mildly annoyed that she somehow managed to get into your personal mail and read it without asking you, but then that is the sort of thing you hired her for. The handwriting does bear a certain similarity to a prominent noble. You won't like this. What is it? Your Aunt Lucille, the Countess of Nyx. What? I can't be certain, and even if she wrote the card, doesn't mean she's behind the poison. But I'd be careful. If something happens to you, who benefits? Who inherits? My uncle Laurent, her husband. If you'd like, I could travel to the ducal seat in Merva and see if I can find out more. Yes, fine, go. Maybe this is all a clever trick or a misunderstanding. And Dad wants to talk to me, which is probably more bad news. Isn't that sad? The only time Dad wants to talk to us is bad news. You find your father standing over a map of the coastline. Sanji is attacking. We're afraid. We'll fight to defend ourselves. Let's go ahead and recruit soldiers. It won't matter. Don't. It's too late for that. You need to draw up naval strategy. You could choose to act as admiral, but we have no skills, so we'll stay in the capital. Do your best and Nova will survive. So we have we have bravely decided to do nothing, which is probably really for the best, all things considered. Oh, let's see here. Let's continue to up our angry since things keep seeming bound and determined to make us afraid. So, if you wanted to do the singing ending, I'm pretty sure you have everything you need. We've got presence, we've got public speaking, we've got voice, we've got foreign intelligence. We needed this to know he was a musician and would be susceptible to singing. We needed this in order to sing. And then public speaking was the whole, what are you doing? How does this benefit you? What is wrong with you? Kind of thing. However, you probably won't get that ending because the whole point of this was the magic mirror. But I did want to give you other options. So now what should we do for the week? We can do anything we want, really. Let's, just to be safe, we'll do a presence and we'll do another public speaking. Danger in the high seas. If you don't go to the battle with Elodie, you won't win no matter what. So off it goes. Not in your favor. That was known. Many good soldiers have been lost, but fortunately we didn't hire extras to get lost. So my thought is that more people are alive at the end of the day. Let's do some more angry. Oh, let's see. And then I said decoration and some more decoration. Let's go ahead and save. The invasion of Nova is proceeding. A diplomatic delegation from Sanji is here. You prepare yourself as best you can. You expected diplomats and a military representative or a general and admiral. You did not expect the handsome man decked in jewels who now stands before you, a man announced by your servants as Togami, king of Sanjia. We have foreign intelligence, so king consort he should be, if even that much. He's a common musician who married his way onto the throne. My dear young lady, how difficult this must be for you. So much responsibility at such a tender age. We have composure, so we don't slap the false sympathy off his oily face, but we force ourselves to remain calm. War benefits no one, don't you think? Such a terrible waste. Better to settle things in a civilized manner. So he's going to go on and continue to... He wants to demand a Lumen duel with Elodie. But Elodie's not a Lumen. Saving it for the coronation, were you? Such a pity that you'll be unprepared. Go and find your crystal. Becoming a Lumen is a very simple matter, and then we can have our duel. What's the point? You know I can't win. Why don't you just kill me now? He wants to fight a Lumen. Because he wants our crystal. So, I don't like this, but what choice do I have? Foreign intelligence success. He was a musician once before he married his way into power. Can I use this? So we have seen to him as an option if you don't want the sad, depressing ending. Instead, we're going to accept his terms. Then I must. No, not my little girl. You want to fight the Lumen ruler of Nova? Your father reaches into his pocket and pulls out a shimmering blue crystal, which he places over his heart. Now, this is his crystal as the Duke of Caloris, but... And you know your mother's crystal is pink. But this is going to trick Togami into thinking that your dad was carrying your crystal around as King Regent, and that this is the Lumen ruler crystal. Illuminate! Your hair stands on end as a veil of blue sparks settles over your father, crawling into his skin. When it's over, the jewel has been absorbed into his body without a trace. Fight me. Leave her alone. Well, this is not what I expected, but it will serve my purposes just as well. And Elodie says, Daddy? Be quiet, Elodie. You are not a queen yet. You are forced to sit and watch as the two men work out the details of the duel and its stakes, then take their places in a carefully worded circle. Your father crosses his arms, summoning up a thick gray fog that circles around him, hiding him from view. But the Sanjian king conjures a cloud of glowing butterflies which dive into the fog and blow it apart. Then the invader claps his hands together and chants. Fiery red lights cluster over his fingertips and merge together into a pulsing blob before erupting towards your father. And your father closes his eyes and does nothing. The energy impacts his body with a terrible sound, the shriek of rent metal magnified 100 times. It shivers inside your skin, resonating with your bones, dropping you to your knees. And then the energy rebounds from your father, slamming back into its caster, and this time the sound is indescribable. For a moment it is hard to breathe. Then slowly the king of Sanjia falls lifeless to the ground, followed by your father. And this is the part where I'm like, oh crap, because I thought the magic mirror was supposed to save his life. Daddy! You rush to his side. Unlike the foreign king, your father is still breathing. It would seem that in this duel, he was the victor. So okay, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. We can only go talk to our father. Nothing else is available. Daddy? There is no answer. Despite the efforts of the palace healers and priestesses, your father has not awakened since the day of the duel. When he faced Tagami, he was clutching a small black mirror rimmed with silver. Perhaps it was one of the dangerous magical artifacts he told you about. It might have saved his life. Unless he awakens to tell you more, you have no way to know. And Elodie says, I'm sorry. Okay. We're super afraid, so we need to do something about that. We can continue taking decoration. That affects, I think it affects the ending a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a bit. You have nothing more to learn about decoration. Once your father defeated the king of Sanji in a duel, the invasion was meant to be over. In practice, it is not quite so easy to expel a foreign army from your lands, particularly when their leadership is falling apart. The remaining Sanjian generals seem surprisingly eager to go home and left without a fuss. I don't know if you remember from the foreign intelligence, but a lot of the Sanjian ministers did not like Togami at all, but couldn't really say so or else they'd disappear. So I'm guessing the generals are kind of in the same boat. But a large number of soldiers have broken ranks and run amok, looting and pillaging their way through Nova just for fun. A number of royal holdings have been damaged and valuables stolen. Not only do you lose them, but you will have to pay for repairs. With so many renegades on the loose, Nova seems likely to have a severe bandit problem for years to come. Your musician agent has returned from her mission to Merva. I have a great deal of news to report. Everything we suspected was true, and worse. Were you aware that your Aunt Lucille is a lumen? Which has got to be a blow right now, because we're thinking that Juliana is an evil lumen, and Celine is an evil lumen, and that there's a whole evil lumen cabal out there plotting our destruction, and our father is in a coma thanks to an evil lumen. She what? I found her journals. They were in code, of course, but no match for my talents. Your aunt intends to take over Nova and rule as an unstoppable mother-daughter lumen team. Charlotte is a lumen? No, your aunt intends to give her your power and your crown. Where are the journals? I want to see them. If I'd taken them, she would know her secret was exposed. Then there's no proof? Proof is a thing that rarely exists, Your Highness. There's always doubt. If this is true, then she has to be stopped at once, whatever the cost. If it's not true, I would be attacking my own best support, my family. There may be a way to test whether this agent is telling the truth. So let's ask about Charlotte's powers. These journals, did they say anything about what magic Aunt Lucille was trying to train Charlotte in? Well, it sounded like she already has some kind of healing power, but that can't be right. No, it's true. Because remember we let the snake bite us. Thank you for your services. Go now. I will deal with this. You will now have to decide what to do about the Mervyn Serpent's Nest. Was Uncle Laurent involved in this, or was it all Lucille? And Charlotte, how much did she know? So now we have to decide. Look at all the exile, execution, and banishment options. I won't go through all of them because I won't. I think I've already shown this, or haven't I? I'm getting so mixed up now. Well, we'll execute Lucille only. With a heavy heart, you sign the orders. Okay. Let's do some sports. Right now is just kind of a whatever. So, we'll just take some instrument. That sounds nice. Take our mind off of our deeply treacherous family and comatose father. Oh my god. Oh. It is traditional for the palace to provide entertainment and refreshment for the common people. Oh, that's interesting. No celebration? Has that always been an option? Oh, shoot. Did I just save over the Lucille thing? I did, didn't I? Oh, yeah, I guess that has always been an option. I found that there's an extra ending slide. If you select a small feast, then there will be like a riot because there's like a run on food and people are like trampling each other to try to get at the food before it's gone. So if you want to see the ending slide for that, pick a small feast, an extravagant feast. I feel bad about saving over the Lucille thing because I could have come back and shown you the banishment one, but that's fine. Skills. Let's go ahead and take some more instruments. It really doesn't matter at this point. Oh, we wasted our last class. Okay. The castle is buzzing with preparations. Decoration. You are happy to collaborate with the designers to ensure that you are shown off to the best possible effect. You are still so young, after all. Good design will help a lot in making you look like a queen. Others are more interested in the subject of your marriage, but we don't get to talk about it because we've already engaged ourselves to Banyan. Take another sports. Oh man, are we still taking classes? Bring on the coronation already. Okay. Alright. Your parents could not attend on the actual day, but they did send wonderful gifts, some for you and some to share. And our dad never did wake up, but hold on. After the coronation, in a private ceremony with the high priestess, Elodie was officially offered her mother's Lubin crystal. She refused to accept it. For the first time in centuries, magic would have no hold on the throne of Nova. So, that's us walking into the bright, uncertain new future without magic. Which I certainly think makes sense in this playthrough after all the things that, from Melanie's point of view, has gone so horribly wrong with magic. The following year, Elodie and Banyan were married in a ceremony she had designed carefully, so I really think that's the decoration skill, to leave no doubt that she was in charge. She wore an elaborate gown with diamonds and streamers like clouded wings. He wore a simple and tight-fitted garment that would have looked at home in the ballet corps. Of course, Banyan won a bit of payback when he revealed the parentage of the adorable flower boy in the wedding procession. So, yeah. Dad! Jocelyn! This is new. Jocelyn never properly recovered from his encounter with the King of Sangia. He did awaken a week after the coronation, but his mind and his memory were badly damaged. He was no longer fit to govern the duchy without aid, much less explain the mysterious events of the duel. Still, he recognized his daughter and was pleased to see her wearing the crown. So that's really sad. Like, when I'd heard that the magic mirror would save Jocelyn's life in the duel, I was like, oh, well, let's do that then. But I hadn't realized that it had this kind of cost attached to it, and that's, well, I mean, I think it fits with the game's themes of how, you know, magic seems to have this cost, and So, you know, magical artifacts also have a cost. Um, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe if Jocelyn had been, maybe if they hadn't forgotten what the artifacts could do, then maybe it wouldn't have had a cost. Maybe he could have controlled it better. Maybe the problem was that had only been a lumen for 5 minutes, or maybe this artifact would have had this cost no matter what. We don't know. And it's not like it's easy to test at this point. Well, okay, give it to a lumen and have them do something with it. You'd be playing with people's lives. So it's a lot of the lore building in this world that things have been lost. The old capital, all the crystals of the old Novan nobility, and now these magical artifacts. But yeah, this is a really sad ending, that he's hurt so badly from this duel. Elodie feared that predatory women might take advantage of her father's weakness, but Jocelyn showed no interest in remarrying. His mind lingered in the past, not the future. He did, however, acknowledge and adopt a previously unknown natural son as the next heir to the Duchy of Caloris. Considering her father's state of mind, Elodie could never be sure whether this young man was truly her half-brother. And I really don't even know. I don't know how to even have an opinion on it. I don't know if you remember, but whenever he was talking to about Siren, he was saying, Caloris has to have an heir. My brother is trying to get married because he doesn't have children either. Caloris must have an heir. You'd sort of think that if he had a natural son that he knew about at that time, that might have been the time to bring it up, especially since he said that, we all of us have to do things we don't want to do, as though remarriage wasn't something he wanted. But, maybe he didn't bring it up because he didn't want to hurt Elodie's feelings. Who knows? So yeah, I don't know if this is really Elodie's half-brother. It's not even said who the mother was, or whether the circumstances were even likely. Does this young man himself think that he's Jocelyn's son? We aren't told. So I don't even know if that makes the ending sadder, that he might be wrong, or even maybe being taken advantage of, or just potentially confused and telling this boy something that isn't true, or maybe it's a happier ending because they're reunited in a way that they're not in the other endings. We don't know. But even in endings where he directs women to his brother for an heir, it's never brought up that he has a natural son, supposedly. So I don't know if it's true or not. With the danger of a rogue lumen weighing on their minds, the squad sent to deal with Lucille, Countess of Nyx, opted to strike quickly and without warning, aiming to eliminate her before she could bring her powers to bear. Kill on sight. This is where arrows would have been a better choice. Infiltrating the ducal stronghold to remove one noble while leaving others unharmed is not a simple task, particularly when the easiest time to catch people off their guard is when they are at family meals or asleep. While Lucille's traumatic death did produce a lumen crystal to justify Elodie's actions, it was unlikely that her relationship with her uncle and cousins would ever fully recover. We can't go back because I destroyed my save, although I could pause and go back. But if you exile her, well, yeah, I'll just go ahead and show that. So we'll just barrel through this. But it's realistic, perhaps, but frustrating that the best ending you could have with Lucille dead and Charlotte still having a relationship with you would have been to kill Lucille at a party, as opposed to wait until you actually had proof. Not that you needed proof at the party. She kind of killed herself because your resist magic was so high, but still, it's a shame that this is such a sad ending. Whew. During Elodie's reign, the public opinion of lumens and magic in general would fall to a new low. Parents taught their children that lumen power was all tied up with witchcraft and blood sacrifice and would always lead to sorrow in the end. In some territories, any village outcast found to be in possession of a shiny bit of rock was likely to fall victim to a lynch mob, and miscreants were rarely punished. Better safe than sorry when it came to magic. Even healers and priestesses were eyed with some suspicion. Who knows what cost their powers might have? Whew. After the failed invasion, relations with Sangia remained tense. First came recriminations and demands from the Queen of Sangia, devastated by the death of her husband, which Elodie ignored. Next came subtler approaches, the quiet gratitude and offers for alliances from ministers who were thrilled to see Togami gone. Elodie ignored these also, which was just as well, since the next thing to arrive was the preserved head of one of the traitorous ministers sent by the Queen of Sangia as a warning. There was no sign of war in the immediate future, but there was not likely to be an alliance either. And then, because we had such high decoration and voice, artistry was the watchword of Elodie's reign. She cherished beautiful things and worked to preserve them for generations to come. So that was a really sad ending. We married Banyan, but because we did it via getting engaged to him as opposed to via not being engaged and having Bryn specifically try to arrange a threesome. So we ended up with Banyan in a way that, while Elodie maintained power in the relationship, he was clearly undermining her and trying to hurt and probably humiliate her. Our father was irreparably damaged from the Lumen battle. I mean he lived, that's good, but he was seriously injured by it. We ended up with a half-brother who we have no idea if he's really related to Elodie, or if he's a con man, if he's some poor guy who has no idea that Jocelyn is wrong. You know, who knows? He may be just as much a victim of circumstances. You know, we completely traumatized our cousin Charlotte by killing her mother in front of her at dinner. We started lynch mobs because of people who hating Lumen power so much. And we had really frosty relationships with Sangia. So... and Elodie had no family strength because Laurent and Charlotte didn't have a relationship with her after this, and her father was in no position to help. So this had to be a very lonely reign. So that was a really sad ending. Maybe the saddest one we've had, just in terms of everything all bundled together. Let me go ahead and pause this and we'll show real quick the exile ending. Hold on just a second. So hey, we're back real quick. I promised that we would show what happens if we decide to banish Lucille and her family. And also, just for kicks and giggles, I selected the small feast option instead of the extravagant or respectable one. So this is that extra ending I was saying. Elodie's coronation day was scarred by tragedy. Rumors spread among the commoners that there was not enough food at the festivities for everyone, and a stampede broke out as each fought to be among the lucky few who would be fed. There were not enough soldiers on hand to maintain order, and a number of people were trampled to death in the chaos. While the loss of life was small, the bad feelings would linger for some time. So that's just the shit cherry on top of this horrible, horrible, sad cupcake. Banyan, you've seen this. Jocelyn, you've seen this. The squad of soldiers sent to arrest Elodie's Mervyn relatives met with furious magical opposition. Only 2 survivors escaped to tell of how huge beams of darkness had streaked down from the sky, ripping soldiers apart in silent explosions. A larger force was sent as soon as possible, but by that time the family was nowhere to be found. Days later, the body of Elodie's uncle, Laurent, the Duke of Merva, was found mutilated in the woods. Those who saw it were quick to put the blame on witchcraft. After that, tensions were high between the Novan central government and the Mervan people. Any misfortunes for the country at large tended to be blamed on Mervan curses and treachery. And I have no idea what happened to Charlotte. Obviously, Lucille escaped and killed her husband, but I don't know. Public opinion of Lumens would fall into a new low. We've seen that. Sanjia, things went badly, and there's our artistry. So, yeah. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell, if you go the court musician / spy outcome of learning about Lucille, I don't think there's a happy ending possible. Banishing them ends with your uncle dead and Charlotte missing. Executing all of them, or executing Lucille and Laurent, or executing yeah, all of those end badly. I guess there was execute Lucille and banish the rest. Let me try that one real quick. Hold on just a second. Okay, so this was the execute Lucille, banish the rest. You've already seen this one, that they opted to strike quickly. Infiltrating the ducal stronghold to remove one noble while leaving others unharmed is not a simple task. And the next, once Lucille was dead, her lumen crystal provided all the evidence necessary to back up the charges of treason. The remaining family members pleaded that they had not known, but they were still stripped of their titles. For the time being, Merva would return to the direct control of the crown. However, if the survivors prove their loyalty, the line might one day be restored. Which ironically, well, yeah, executing Lucille and banishing Charlotte and Laurent, as horrible as it was better than, like, banishing everybody, or maybe from a political standpoint even better than just executing Lucille, because if you wanted to, you could dole out Merva to somebody who was loyal to you instead of having to deal with the cold shoulder from the realistic but still politically damaging cold shoulder from Laurent and Charlotte. So yeah, everything about this ending was just very, very sad. Go watch the Pink Angel one. Back up your game and be the Pink Angel, and then you can be happy again. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, for playing. And hopefully you should be maybe 5 achievements closer to collecting them all. That was Magic Mirror, Mysterious Artifact. Goodbye.